Hello and welcome to Awakened Entrepreneur Revolution. In this podcast, you will discover how to co-create success in your business by aligning mind, body, and soul. Tune in each week to hear unconventional ways to build your business by focusing on sales and marketing energetics, mixing the woo and the do to enroll more clients, transform more lives, and create the ripple effect you know you are here to make. The traditional approach hasn't resonated with you because it is not meant for you. You've simply evolved past it. The energy is shifting. Old bro tactics and strategies are not working anymore. And you know there is a more aligned, more authentic, and far more impactful approach for you. Join me, Jana Niksa, the Authentic Sales Coach, and a special guest each week as I discover how they co-created their multi-6 and 7-figure businesses by taking inspired action and cultivating success from the inside out. Let's transcend the traditional together to massively up-level your business and to live your purpose on purpose. Hello and welcome back to Awakened Entrepreneur Revolution. So today, I don't just have one, I have 3 special guests from the Wise Woman World, a collective of visionary female entrepreneurs, each a leader in their own right, who have come together to birth something deeper, more magnetic, and more revolutionary than you could ever do alone, which of course I love. We're here to ignite a new era, yes, of entrepreneurship, one that shatters the outdated hierarchical ways, I can't ever say that word, you guys, hierarchical ways of hustling, climbing, and conforming. And we're teaching women exactly how to rise beyond them. Through the sacred technologies of the gene keys, human design, astrology, and somatic embodiment, we help entrepreneurs unlock their divine blueprint, own their gifts unapologetically, and build businesses that flow from inner alignment and not external pressure. We believe the future of prosperity is not in chasing, proving, or performing. It's in returning to your intuition, your body, and your purpose. That's where the real wealth lives, or just cause. A world where individuals rise in their divine power, synced with the universe, fueled by purpose and guided by intuition, where businesses become sacred vessels of healing and community. This isn't just business, it's a revolution. Yes. We're here to spark courage and curiosity and rewrite what's possible in life and business. Oh my gosh. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
So great to have you. I am so excited to talk to you guys. I mean, we couldn't be more aligned. And I just know that that's because it's such a big part of the collective, right? That's what this entire podcast is about, is like, you know, we're going to do it differently. If we're more consciously evolved, then we're not going to be able to do things and manipulate and enforce and convince and, you know, and if I can do that in sales, we can certainly do it in business, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your journey to coming together, because I also believe for anybody out there as a solopreneur starting out wondering, like, how do I get it all done? It's by yourself. It's because you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is I'm so excited to have this conversation because we've talked about it here on the podcast, but not at this level. So I would love to hear your story of how you all came together.
Actually, it was very synchronistic. And so to bring in the woo with it is so much of, I think, life. We think that it's just monotonous, but really things are lining up. The dominoes are being lined up, and oftentimes we don't realize it until after they've been pushed down and we can see the whole picture and see where they land. And interestingly, so there's 4 of us that are actually in the Wise Woman World together. Our remaining business partner, Christina, who's not here today, she actually is in Ecuador because she is, she's working with who we partner with to sell cacao. That's another part of our business.
Cool.
And so she's there and building relationships and connections and community there. So that's pretty impressive and wonderful because we really do practice what we preach. So Aleena and I are actually sisters. And I mean, Aleena was the quintessential entrepreneur. She had at 10 years old, had the snow cone machine, and I was the hype girl, and I'd go around and knock on everybody's doors and tell them to come because the snow cone machine was open and she'd sell all things. So we kind of have been in business essentially together our whole lives. But then we all live in different places, and I live in Idaho, and I became very interested in astrology, and I was actually learning about all of astrology, and I'll shorten this story. Anyway, I was in an international astrology class, and Christina was also in that class, and we really jived with each other's vibe. And so she messaged me and she was like, "Hey, do you want to meet for virtual coffee?" And I was like, "Yeah, that would be great." Come to find out, we live a mile from each other. So we met for real coffee and became friends. And then eventually just like it aligned so well to start a business together. And then so that was kind of the initial business. And we started to do these retreats. And again, Christina's a wonderful networker, a really great connector. So is Dayna. And they ended up meeting in a really beautiful, like a festival called Yin on Fire that happens in Southern Utah. And
which, if you don't know what that is, look it up right now, yinonfire.com or yinonfire.org. It is an incredible healer festival for the woo and the do people. Highly, highly recommend. It's still going, and it'll be in October. Keep going.
Yeah. So they happened to meet 2 years ago at this festival and just connected. And then Dayna and Aleena came to the retreat that Christina and I were hosting a couple years ago. And it was just it was wonderful because we have the great ability to be experts in our field, but also students. And so we're always willing to learn and to learn from other people and from their expertise. So they both came to a retreat that we had, and then just synchronicity, everything kind of just started to line up, and we ended up kind of building and launching the Wise Woman World last about July. So with the 4 of us, which we were told by many, many experts that we were whacked. We were crazy to have 4 business partners. And within a month of us partnering together, we 4 times our income.
That's amazing.
I do have to say too, that idea of the solopreneur, actually we can see in these incredible charts, these birth charts, right? We can see, and if you don't know gene keys and human design, you don't have to know the language, but those are incredible opportunities to actually see yourself in a new way, particularly through the lens of business. That's what we really love. And the majority of us, almost all of us, are actually created to collaborate together. We are designed that way. And so the time of the solopreneur is actually, it is taking an exit from the scene, right? It is. And we're stepping into more collaboration and what we like to call synergy or synarchy. And we just found between the 4 of us, there is no one person over the other. This is absolutely, we all are equal and we all respect each other deeply in our respective fields. And it's been a really incredible and healing experience for us, especially for me, as I've had different hierarchical businesses that I've been a part of in my personal development industry career. And having this experience now is just it. We are getting comments from other women being like, I've never felt this. I've never seen this before. And this is why this is so powerful. And this is an invitation to listeners of like, there is a human fractal of individuals that you're meant to change the world with. There are. And in fact, on my end, when I stopped trying to find it and initiate, and I was open to receive, I started living in alignment with my design. I am designed as a magnet to bring in opportunities. And when I started trusting that and trusting that the right partnership would come, it came right in. Versus me going out and trying to initiate and do all these things with all these people. Most of us aren't actually designed to initiate everything. We're designed to receive and to make decisions from there. So it's been such a dynamically powerful experience on a cellular level to have these shifts within the energy between all of us and feel what it feels like to actually live a synarchical way of doing business.
That is so beautiful. And it is so, like the new earth way of, as consciously evolved entrepreneurs. I should have known I was a light worker when way early on I would look at these, pardon anybody who's a legal lawyer. Sorry, this is no offense, but I would see these long, stupidly long contracts. Like what is this? Like, why is this is crazy. Like, why are we living like this? And I think it's like, if you think, and anybody else listening, I'd invite you to really like sit with this. Like any of those types of feelings that you've had, it was just your intuition really telling you that it just felt so unnecessary. And I think that's so much of what I certainly feel as this old world kind of like plays out, like just so much unnecessary. And there's so much more ease available when,
Yes.
when we, it's like, I listened to Teal Swan a while ago, and I'll never forget, this always stuck with me. It's like humanity changes when we take someone else as our own. And I thought, you know what, that is it. Because if we are ultimately connected completely, then why wouldn't we? And so this old way of like, the zero sum game is ending. And I definitely feel that too. And something else that I think really shines when you collaborate, I have a beautiful, I teach people in the, like how to create high ticket offers and help them do a sales process and close all of those pieces. But then I have somebody else that's like excellent at messaging to premium, and then I have an intuitive coach in there who's great with like, your guides are telling me this is what's going to come up when you're working with Jana. Just, so it's like, but let me tell you what's available when you do these kinds of things is it's so much easier for you to even quote, I don't believe in typical, but quote unquote, sell it, because all of a sudden you're like, this is all of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not, the self-worth thing doesn't even become a thing anymore because it's like an exponential thing. And so I think it's just another way to like really own what you do without feeling like, oh my gosh, am I good enough to do all? It's like, the question becomes who, not how,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it becomes about like, ooh, where do I want to collaborate? How can I offer value to those around me? It's not, oh my gosh, like, ooh, I don't, am I enough to be doing this? It's like, no, you are. Where's your part that you get to play in the world?
Yes.
And in collaboration and in the synchronicities of these relationships around you, how can you bring your gifts to the table in another community and help uplift in the way that you know how, that's fun for you, that's enjoyable for you? It's about that way of seeing things, that way of doing things. And in fact, the synarchy only works. The synarchy is where everyone is equal. Everyone plays a fantastic, important part, no matter what it is. And our old brains, we really do. We were actually just talking about this before this call. We have these cellular imprints that we get to start moving through. And actually, Lean, I would love for you to talk a little bit about that just after this comment, because you have so much to say on that. But in order for the synarchy to work, you must own your magic as your part as a contributor. You're a contributor. The old way is I'm a guru. I know everything. I have everything together. You want to be like me. I have all the answers. No. Now we're saying you are a contributor. What do you want to contribute to the whole? What does that look like? And those are the questions we deserve to start asking ourselves. And in fact, written in our DNA. And this is what Gene Keys talks about. Written in our DNA is the wisdom that we're here to share. It's not about taking enough classes or courses or anything outside of you. It's tapping into what lights you up, what makes you excited, and contributing to a community in a new way. So, Lean, let's talk about that cellular DNA and how we can start addressing some of that. Because I do think that hierarchical way of doing things is written in there, and we get to look at that.
100%. Because for eons of time, our nervous system has been patterned, and we have, with epigenetics, right? It's the safety is in if I can be on top. If I can be on top, and if I can just work really hard to be on top, then I'm safe. And what we're learning, and as like Jana, you talk about the new earth, is we get the opportunity now to repattern our nervous systems for collaboration, for community, for that web. Because something I think we forget when we talk about going out for collaborations. So I have a pretty limited nervous system. I came that way. It's just I get really dysregulated and overwhelmed very fast. So with that has brought a lot of physical ailments, mental ailments, a lot of that. And my life has been a journey of realizing it is my thoughts and my nervous system and how to make those get online. So when we talked about collaborations, when I became a somatic experiencing, I particularly through Qigong is what I use. I was reaching out to collaborate, and I was getting like, no, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I'm immediately in like fight or flight. I'm like, I'm not okay. Like no one wants to be my friend. So I just want to put out there right now is there, even in this, you don't want to be a solopreneur. You feel like you're ready to move into that collaboration space. As you reach out, you might get some, no, that doesn't work for me. And that will be your biggest, most beautiful invitation to your nervous system. How do you respond to that? And then it's your choice to figure out regulation techniques, right? And please reach out to us. We do a lot of somatic embodiment because that is how we grow as entrepreneurs. You know, as an entrepreneur, you come up with decision fatigue, imposter syndrome. Like, what are all these things that come up from putting yourself and your beautiful invitations out into the world? A lot of that comes with exposing yourself. And then that's where you get to see how your nervous system feels about its innate safety. So we are all about making sure that we help and support entrepreneurs, especially those that want to get into collaborations and want to do things a different way. One of the first ways you need to do that is repatterning what your body has always known, which is hierarchy, not being safe, this imposter syndrome, things like that. So it's time. We're so excited, and it's so fun that each of us get to address that.
It is the gift. You know, I think so many entrepreneurs get attached to like the outcome. And I'm constantly having to re-engage them into it's all, of course, you know, it's all happening for you. And you're going to be presented with people and circumstances and situations to reveal to you where you're not free. And that is the gift. And so if you're like, you know, I just had a conversation with one of my clients. She's like, it didn't go. I've been positive and it didn't go. It's kind of like inner child work. When I started it early on, I'm like, where are you? Get it over here so I can hug you so you can just be done with you. Right? Yes, it's like the same thing. Like, let me just get my ego all up in my inner child work, even though that's probably what did it in the first place. And it's like, no, there's an ease here. There's a surrender here. And the trust doesn't mean I'm going to trust you long enough for you to give me what I want. And if you don't, then I'm not going to trust you.
Yes.
That's not it.
No.
So good.
So the kicker and what I love about what you guys do is this, how do we manage what shows up on the way to the vision?
Yeah, because it will.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurial journey, like we say this all the time, it is not for the faint of heart. It will challenge all the things. It will challenge every belief inside you. It will challenge the old way of doing business. Like there's a lot to work through. And this is why I think, you know, and you can probably agree, Jana, this is why we do our work. This is why we care about doing our businesses right now, because we see in our own experience, like, oh, like this brings up stuff. And a lot of times we need other people, and we deserve other people and community around us to help us with that, to help bring support to that, to bring a different idea or a different frequency into an old thought pattern of like, oh, guess what? This is just old way of doing business. It's okay. That's starting to like die off now. And so it's time to embrace this new way. Here's what that might look like. And in fact, let's help you tune into you. What does that feel like inside your body?
Yes.
What does that look like to you? Because you have the answers above what anyone else says. Your answers are correct for you. April.
Which I have to say, at least for me on my journey, I didn't know what I was getting. And I didn't know what my talents and strengths and things were. So it was this, like, I really was looking for somebody to be like, just tell me what I'm good at. Just tell me. Because we can say all the time, like, oh yeah, you bring your special sauce. You bring you and do the thing that you're good at. And there's some people that I just know it. They know what they're good at. They know what they want to do. They know the things. And then for the rest of us, we know we need to do something. We just don't know what that is. And so that's why we bring in the astrology, human design, and gene keys, because we actually are looking at the maps of you. And we just happen to be the interpreter. We speak the language of it. And at least for me, when I initially started to dive into this aspect of things, I was realizing that all of the things that felt so easy for me to do were actually my gifts. And I just thought it was easy for everybody. I just thought like, oh, but this is nothing special because it's not hard. And I was like, wait, it actually, that's what I'm here to do. And imagine it being easy. And also there was some permission there, because there were some things in my charts that I hardcore judged myself for desiring, for wanting, for, and just like, whether it's my own personal beliefs, my cultural upbringing, my family, whatever it is, there were things in me that I'm naturally good at that I judged really hard because that wasn't okay. Like one of them being seen, like wanting to have like influencer type energy. And I hated that about myself. But when I looked at all of my charts, it was like, no, it's right there. And so it gave me permission to be like, okay, I'll do that. Sounds good.
I want to say something to that. It is magic knowing what we know about each other. I cannot like say this enough. We know that April, she has what's called a Leo rising. And what that means is she to perform and to be seen is so natural for her and so beautiful. And because we all know that, when she gets up and starts performing, we are nothing but fangirls for her. We are like cheering her on. We are stoked and excited. And in fact, it's something continually that can actually bring me to tears, because I'm in awe. I'm inspired by her greatness and her shining and performing. And it is a joy to watch, because I know she's designed that way. And it's incredible as a woman knowing these things about my partners. There was another experience we had Venus retrograde, and in our business, we had quite a bit of things come up that was profound. And we know, Aleena, do you care if I share just a little bit about our experience? So one of my core wounds, I know that one of my core wounds is shame. And from my gene keys, I understand I'm carrying that collective core wound. I know Aleena is carrying repression, and meaning repress, keep it like, don't speak up. And we had this moment where Aleena was like really sharing how she felt about something, and it hit my shame wound and it hurt. And I was able to be like, oh, this is my shame wound showing up. And I know Aleena's is repression, and I know Aleena's heart. She has a great heart, and she would never mean to hurt me. And I was able to walk myself through this. And the next morning I woke up, and I can tell you, I felt this overflowing, like proud mama. Aleena spoke up. Aleena is healing her core wound. Aleena's doing it. So I sent her a text. I'm like, just so you know, I am cheering you on for how you spoke up. I am cheering you on for speaking up and sharing your truth, because I know how hard that was for you. And it's been such an incredible journey of honoring each other's uniqueness and actually cheering it on, being excited for each other in it, because we know these things about our team, because we know these things about each other. It actually, I'm kind of almost still in like this jaw drop, like, this is amazing. This is like revolutionary what we're experiencing as a team and support. And I wonder what would happen if more teams knew this, if more teams of people understood each other's strengths and how to highlight those and cheer those on, and the weaknesses, and how to help cultivate a space where people can overcome those. It's been phenomenal. And in fact, it's revolutionary and life-changing. And it makes me really excited on an individual level. Can you imagine, as a parent, as a significant other, there's just so many reasons why understanding each other on a really core root divine level is so powerful, using these systems and charts.
It's like, it's so validating, right? Like, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I understand me now, because there's certain things that, whether it's like, April was saying about the genius and not knowing that's a big deal. Or, I think one of the biggest gifts of understanding my human design, and I've read the Gene Keys, but I need to revisit like certain pieces of it. I'll tell you, this is funny. This is probably in my design. I'm Gene Key 10. And I was like, well, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Yes. I felt the same way about Gene Key 26.
I was like, I don't know how to take that, so I'm going to put you away now, because that scared me a little bit, whereas I'm a 6'3" in human design. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's just interesting. But no, I've been getting the nudge for a while to get back into it, because it really gives you so much. Because, the salad dressing cannot see the recipe on the outside of the bottle. But when you can like get in and look, and then you have other people that are able to help reflect some of those pieces back to you, and the beautiful understanding, Dayna, that you said about, oh, I see what she's doing there. Like, she's not being an aggressive, whatever we may have said in the old world. It's like, no, she's actually healing her wound. She came here to heal. And you have a different perception of everything and how we behave,
Everything.
Admiration, compassion, instead of like, who does she think she is, or whatever the ego's going to tell you. And just, what a beautiful thing. Yes, Aleena.
Can I speak? I love that you talked about perception, because fascinatingly, my whole life, I've just never fit in. I'm an herbalist, and I did that before anyone knew really why to use herbs, right? Like, I've always been about 10 years ahead of like all the woo stuff. I'm about 10 years ahead. And then, but I let that make something about me, right? Like, I just don't fit in. No one gets me. Right. And then when Dayna introduced me to Gene Keys and my life's work, the first sentence in my life's work was, you are not here to fit in. That is what it says. And it says, you're the original creative rebel. That's my first sentence. And it's wild, because this thought pattern that I have just really brought into my body is, you just don't fit in. No one gets you. And now, since reading that, I'm like, you don't fit in. No one gets you. Yeah. No one gets you, and you get to show up, because you don't fit in. And everyone that feels like they don't fit in, they get you, and you're there for them. And this is perfect. And so I love that you talk about perception, because it really was within months, I started moving through life and the world just a little bit differently, just understanding that one sentence about myself. And the thing that's interesting is, because of my somatic work, like, the movement, somatics is help you to increase your window of tolerance, right? So as I read that sentence and I did my somatic work, it was like my window of tolerance just grew and grew and grew, able to really bring in that divine part of myself that was here to always be experienced. And I just experienced it for one way for a while. And now I'm excited to experience a different way.
I mean, there's just so much power there.
Yeah.
You know, I always say that knowledge is not power. Implementation of knowledge is power. But in this case, that knowledge is powerful. I think one of the biggest shifts, I had the intuitive coach inside my program. You know, she works with me. She's my client, but then, you know, she's always like, Jana, like, I see, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I feel that. Okay. You know, like, it just like really, because she can see it. And it's just so validating too, because I think, like you said, that it just expands you that much more. You're like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, this is for realsies, you know, and it just, there's so, in this case, I'll make one exception. I think knowledge is power because you really do get to look at it in an entirely different way. And it can shift, you know, you said a micro, and I think it can be, I think so also though, it's like, like a huge, massive identity shift too, because all of a sudden it all makes sense, you know? You're not the black sheep. There's so much more to this story.
Right. I think that's one of the coolest parts about this understanding. When I first started learning about Gene Keys and human design, and I looked at mine, I bawled because secretly I had this like secret desire in my heart to contribute to a new way of doing business. And I recognized I had these two aspects. One is Gene Key 26 or Human Design Gate 26, which is the sacred salesperson. I care about sacred sales. I care deeply about doing it in a way that honors both individuals, and it's written inside me. The second one was Gene Key 45, which is my life's purpose. I'm here to rupture the hierarchical way of doing business and money. And when I read that, I cried. I cried and cried because secretly I've always wanted to do that. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the thing that can stop people. Have I done that? Have I done it before? Do I have it mastered? No. In fact, I don't. But can I contribute to the conversation? Yes. Can I trust that it's written in my DNA and that things will begin to wake up and I can keep contributing? Yes. Now, this is a time where it's no longer, I have it all together. I've achieved all these things and you want to be like me. That is old. We are now tapping into such a new way of doing things that it's requiring us to tap into our DNA, to tap into our inner intuition, to put human words. I think that's been my favorite part about understanding these things. It's putting human words to this feeling inside of me, my greatness, my desires, my fire inside me, so that I have the human words to keep reinforcing that positive part of me, to keep reinforcing and growing that, because everything outside of me, there's a lot of things that are different than what I believe inside, right? There's the hierarchical way of doing business has been very strong, very powerful. And if I can hold that energy inside me and hold that power of, no, I'm here to contribute to the conversation and add value here, which everyone listening does. The Gene Keys are a living transmission meant to wake up your DNA. And when you allow yourself to trust your intuition and trust what you have to say, we actually pave a new trail with business and the bridging the woo and the do. It's time. It's time for that.
It absolutely is. I'm all curious about the sacred selling one. I'm like, I need to go.
I know. I want to see your charts. Just
like, I want to know, because that's one I haven't had fully done. And I think what scared me about my life's work is Gene Key 10 is it was basically like, yeah, and you're going to work your butt off and never ever see anything from it. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
I'm not really loving that.
Let's read it together because it might be a little bit.
I don't need to be like superstar, but it'd be nice. I don't want to be Van Gogh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds sad. Like, I really get sad when I think about Van Gogh, when he was like died depressed and poor, and now look at how beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see some of where, but I think I already do. You know what I mean? Like, just doing this and having these conversations. But but yeah, like this was, I don't even know how many years ago. So I haven't really explored it since then because I was like, ew,
Yeah.
what is that?
You want to know the best part, Jana? The best part. When I looked at mine, so I'm here to rupture the hierarchical way of doing business and money, right? The hierarchy. All of my shadows, pride, dominance, corruption, discord, like every synonym you could imagine that is connected to hierarchy are my shadows.
Yeah.
And it was a huge aha of like, oh, if we know these frequencies and energies, the whole idea with Gene Keys is learning to accept and love those frequencies that can run through our bodies and through our systems. Because when we do that, that's where we have real power. And so I was actually the sacred salesperson, the shadow's pride. And that was the one I felt most shame about. And I was most like, oh, I don't want anyone to see this. So what did I do? I started talking about it in safe circles. I started saying, yeah, my shadow's pride. That's one of them for me. And it shows up a lot in my Gene Keys and human design. It shows up multiple times. And so what I'm doing is playing with that energy. What does pride feel like in my body? So that I know when it's running, it becomes this like game of like, how can we do this? What does this look like? And then how can I spot it outside of me too? How can I spot when it is there? And then how can I bring artfulness to the table when those things are coming and help others to shift into a new direction?
It's just like all music to my ears. I know, Aleena, you wanted to say something. So,
oh no, I just wanted to say that your Gene Key 10, which is the city or the highest expression is being. That is actually one that I'm always like, I wish I had Gene Key 10. I just wanted to tell you, because when I listen to it, what I hear is let it be easy. Let it flow. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to be so hard. That is so it's very interesting how even just
well, it's the cosmic joke because I'm a generator and a Capricorn. Thanks so much.
Yes. I love that for you.
Watch this.
Look at you doing all the cool things. Jana, well done.
Well, and I do, years ago after my spiritual awakening, I was just playing. I was still in sales and I was playing with like all these different certifications and just obsessed, right? Joe Dispenza, like, oh my God, you create your own reality. Like, oh, and I've always been a seeker and I've always been really curious. But one thing inside that program, it was a year long. She's like, I was like, I don't get this being and doing. I was like, how can you be and do? I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I will meditate, but then I'm going to do. I was like, the funnel will not build itself. You know what I mean? Like, and it really, and I remember one of our last conversations, she's like, Jana, I think there's something here for you in this. Because I would just get like, and I feel like it used to be like this. And now it's becoming like really like this. But it's been, and now I have clients that come to me. I think that also, and me helping them undo the doer, so that they can really, like I said, they'll be like, I trust and I'm positive now. Where is it? And that's not it. But it's tough. I mean, that's a tough one. There's so much like you were saying, Dayna, like I basically have to go against what everybody tells you.
Yeah.
But I will say this about it. I did that in the sales world at 22.
Yeah.
Like, I had Fortune 500 companies telling me this is how you do it. And I said, that is not how I'm doing it. If I can do that there at 22, I can certainly do that now in my 40s in my business. You know what I mean?
100%.
But it's hard to know what I found through this journey over the last several years, how much doing is to do versus, and like where it's a dance for me.
Yeah. And every person, me too, Jana. Me too. Even this last year, I've had to really check myself again because we're building a foundation, right? And
you're building, you're doing.
I'm a generator too. And I'm like, I could just, and I'm divorced, so I only have my kids part-time. And so I'm like, man, if I don't have my kids, like I could just work, I could do this till 10 or 11 p.m. I had a moment where I totally had a meltdown of like, I'm doing way too much. I'm out of balance. I'm trying to earn my worth. Like, and it was a cool moment of like, check in. And every person's balance of the doing and being is a little bit different at different times of life. And we get to be really patient with that. It's actually something we talk about in our program is we actually have cycles that we go through every year. These beautiful cycles that we go through that open up different doors for different seasons throughout the year for ourselves and in our business. And there's a whole season that everyone has that April, like how some people have really long ones, some people have short ones. About how long?
I mean, for the typical person, it's about a month, but
A month.
but for it depends on your astrological chart, but there's some people that have it 2-3 months long. So,
and what we're talking about is a rest and rejuvenation, where it is like downtime. And it's so cool because when you can map out someone's their cycles for the year, you can plan out your business. You can plan out when you're going on vacation, when you're doing your downtime, when you're gonna, because a lot of times we hit those natural cycles, our bodies are telling us to rest, and we're like, no, I am launching a program right now. I'm going to push.
Yes.
And so we are all about getting back to the natural rhythms and cycles of our prosperity and what that looks like, and helping people understand through their unique design, because that's found through your astrology chart. We look at your astrology chart and you can see the cycles you'll go through in a year and what they look like, and the best times to be launching, the best times to be resting. And so it's getting back to our natural rhythms and our own intuition. Our bodies tell us so much.
I don't know about anybody else listening. I'm pretty sure I'm so curious. Like there's just so much more to learn. You know what I mean? And it just gives you so much. It gives the validation and the new perception, right? And the piece of it, the realization, all these Asians. But what I would love to do is a couple things. I'd love to have you guys back on and have this whole conversation again, but around lack consciousness and money, because I think that I think that would be really fun because we're not just moving into a new way of doing business and relating to each other. It's also going to be an entirely different way of meeting our needs, you know? And so I'd love to talk to you all about that. But in the meantime, I know you brought us a gift. So
Yes.
please share.
Yes, we have a free mini course. It's an incredible mini course that was created out of a love of mine called Energy Psychology. So we bring in some energy psychology from Donna Eden and her husband and another psychologist of how to rewire your inner energy system to a new way. So it's called Rewire Your Wealth Codes. There's a whole system that helps you do that. And then we have somatic movement exercises to help reset your nervous system. So it's all about rewiring inside internally. And these are incredible practices. It's a really amazing course. And actually, I've really loved doing it personally. It's been a really fun journey for me and seeing the changes over time. So it's really well done. I'm excited about it. So yeah, we're offering that to anyone who hears this and is listening now and in the future as a gift from us, because we care about upgrading our ideas around wealth, prosperity, and money.
Yes, I love that. Definitely go get that. Donna Eden, she's kind of the quirky one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I do her little known fact, everybody. I do her practices in the shower every day.
I love it.
I do the tap and then this guy and this, all the things. But
you will love it then.
It's really, there's so many layers, but it's like, how have I been able to hold as much as I have just in the last few years? And it's like that cumulative effect. It's like you put that in the bank, in the bank, and you're like, I don't know. And then you have like certain things and you're like, I can hold all of this without self-destructing. You know what I mean? Which is really cool. Well, my last question as we wrap up, and I'll just go like around and ask each of you. And so the first person's not going to know, but don't think about it if you're not first. And that is, Aleena, like, what would you tell the former version of you? Like, if you could go back to a certain point in time and speak to little Aleena.
She needs a lot of love. And really, I think what I would tell her is she is safe. It's okay to feel safe, and it's okay to feel, to settle into safety. I just I never felt safe. I was always anxious and all of that. So I would hold her hand and remind her she's safe.
I love that. Okay, April, I'm just going around the screen. What would you tell little April?
I would tell little April to enjoy the moment. I've always been very future, like, oh, I can't wait until that happens. Oh, that's going to happen. And always looking at the future. And so to love where you're at right now.
Beautiful. That's a big one. Whew. Yes. Dayna.
I think what I would tell my past self is just thank you.
Oh,
You did so good at this human thing. And I love who I am. And I love her. And everything she experienced has added so much value and wisdom to my life that I wouldn't do anything different.
Mhm.
I would just hug her and hold her and be like, damn, you were doing good at this human thing. You're doing great. So proud of you. Perfectly on time.
I love that. Everybody just take a deep breath and just breathe all of that in, because it's so true. And we just forget that we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And I just love that. So don't worry, everybody. All the links, everything is going to be in the description. Definitely go get the mini course on wealth and energetics. And ladies, thank you so much. This was so fun. I really enjoyed it. And we'll see them back again, I hope.
Yes.
No pressure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening, and I have an amazing gift for you. If you are ready to hit those 10K, 20K, 50K months and beyond, I created a next level you meditation so that you can take action and embody your higher self each day to quantum leap your business. Please listen up. Review this podcast, screenshot the review, and share it on social, and tag me, the Authentic Sales Coach, on either Facebook or IG, and I will send you this special gift as a massive thank you.